At Collinwood, no one is safe from the nameless terror that hovers so close. Tonight, young David Collins has reason to hope that the fears we've all had will soon be put to rest.
Vicky, what's taking them so long?
When you're waiting for something, the time always seems to go longer than it really is.
Maybe something's happened to them.
Don't be silly.
Vicky, terrible things can happen at that old house.
Nothing has happened to them. Burke and Dr. Woodard will be back here very soon.
And they'll tell everyone that they saw the coffin. And everything will be all right. I won't have to worry anymore. You believe me, don't you, Vicky?
Well, I believe that you thought there was a coffin there.
I know I saw a coffin, and you'll know that, too, as soon as they get back.
Sister Anne, tell me what you see.
What?
That's what you look like, standing there at the window. Like Sister Anne in the story of Bluebeard, looking out the window to see if any help was coming up the road. While the poor bride cowered in the corner. Do you remember that story?
Yes, I remember it. And help finally did come. Just in time. And the bride was saved from death.
Wait a minute, Dave.
What's the matter?
Even though there was nothing in the basement, you'll have to admit that Barnabas acted awfully strangely about letting us down.
I've always thought that Barnabas's behavior was a little strange.
I don't like him. Nothing about him. He's the kind of guy that makes you want to prove himself wrong.
Yeah, it's a strange family. Listen, we're going to have to be very, very careful the way we break the news to David.
However it's done, he's going to be terribly hurt.
Yeah, I know. It's going to make it just that much more difficult to find out what it is that's causing the boy's fantasies or hallucinations or whatever else it is that he's experiencing.
You're convinced that's all they are? Fantasies?
I don't know. I'm an adult, Burke. I'm supposedly a trained scientist. But this situation is utterly beyond my understanding. I'm baffled by it. More than that, I'm frightened. I can well imagine how frightened the boy must be. We've got to find out who or what is behind all this and help the boy.
Well, gentlemen, what have you to say for yourselves?
Well, Barnabas wasn't particularly willing or eager to let us examine his basement.
And so you didn't go down there?
Oh, yes, we finally did.
And?
There was no coffin. The basement room was practically empty.
Well, I trust you gentlemen at least enjoyed your walk. It is a nice evening for that.
Is that all you have to say?
What do you want me to say? You're very quick to point out how odd and eccentric my cousin is. I think I would have reacted exactly as he did. The idea of two hysterical grown men tramping through a cellar looking for an empty coffin is macabre.
Roger, I don't think that asking for Barnabas' cooperation is an imposition. After all, he is the boy's cousin.
Yes, and I'm the boy's father, and I tell you I wouldn't cooperate. David is a very dramatic little boy. He loves to play games, and the more people cooperate with him, the more fantastic his games become.
Well, Roger, I am a physician. Now, I think I know the difference between a frightened person and a mentally disturbed person when I see them.
Of course you do, Doctor, and I'm sure that you can recognize the difference between a cellar with a coffin and a cellar without a coffin.
I don't think you realize how serious David's condition may be.
David has no condition. He's like every other young boy. But because he's a Collins, everyone is anxious to put a label on him, to find strangeness where none exists.
Look, Collins or not, that is a very frightened little boy.
And every other little boy in the world is frightened. It's part of growing up. When I was a child in this house, I was terrified of the darkness in the corners. and frightened to walk along the corridors by myself. I used to think that all the people in these Collins portraits, all those dead people, stared at me wherever I went, looked at me with piercing eyes, hated me. Well, I outgrew it, and so will David. Now, better go up and talk to him.
Aren't you going up too?
I leave the matter entirely to you. Tell him what you saw, or rather, what you did not see. Let him know that he hasn't won this game, anyway.
It is not a game.
If it is, it's a very dangerous one.
They're back!
Did you find anything?
Vicky, do you mind if we talk to David alone for a minute?
No, of course not. I'll be downstairs in the drawing room if you need me. Is everything all right, Burke?
I don't know, Vicky. I hope so.
We didn't see any coffin in that cellar, David.
But it's there. You must have seen it.
I'm sorry, David. We didn't.
You mean he wouldn't let you go down and look for it?
Oh, yes, he let us go down. He came down with us. But the cellar room was empty.
It couldn't be. I saw it.
Come on now, David. Don't get upset. It wasn't there.
But it has to be. I saw it there.
Look, you act as if we were calling you a liar, David. We're not. Burke and I are trying to help you. We want to help you any way we can. But we've got to understand.
Then believe me. Because if you don't, something terrible will happen to me.
No, don't worry, David. No, we're not going to let anything happen to you.
You can say that, but you didn't see the coffin, and you didn't see the look on Barnabas's face.
I wish I knew what was going on in your mind. I wish I could look deep enough.
It isn't in my mind. It's out there. The evil is out there.
Out where? Tell us, David.
I wish I could tell you, but I promised I wouldn't.
What do you mean?
There's a place out there in the cemetery, a tomb
The mausoleum.
where Naomi and Joshua Collins are buried. Sarah's buried there, too. I promised I wouldn't tell, but I'm going to have to break that promise.
David, we know all about the mausoleum and the people that are buried there. So you won't be breaking a promise just to tell us?
Yes, I am. Because someone else was buried there once.
But there are only 3 coffins in the mausoleum.
No, there's one more in there.
There isn't any third coffin any fourth coffin in the mausoleum, David.
Whose is it?
I don't know. You see, it's empty.
But as I say, there isn't another coffin there, David.
Yes, there is, behind the wall in the secret room. Listen!
What is it?
It's Sarah. She's mad at me for breaking my promise. But I had to. I had to. You hear it, don't you?
Hear what?
That music coming from outside somewhere.
Yes, it sounds like a flute.
It's Sarah.
Well, what makes you say it's Sarah?
I told you. Because she's mad at me. That's a song she always plays.
Now, look, David, let's forget all about Sarah and the flute for a minute, and let's start talking about that secret room again. Now, you say Sarah told you about it.
She even took me there. And that's what happened to me when I got lost. I got locked in the secret room.
And there was a coffin in it, huh?
An empty one. I had to hide in it when Cousin Barnabas and Willie came in. If they had found me there, they would have killed me. That's why I had to tell Sarah, because they would have killed me.
Come on, David. Come on. Sit down, David. Coffins frighten you a great deal, don't they, David?
You think I made it all up, don't you?
No, I didn't say that.
But I didn't. I'll show you. I'll take you to the mausoleum, and I'll show you how to get into the secret room. Then you can see the coffin for yourself.
Yeah, but suppose we get there and there is no secret room.
But there is. I know there is, and I'll show it to you if you just give me one more chance.
All right, David. You show us. Now, we're going to have to get your father to say that it's all right for us to take you out with us tonight.
You'll stay close to me when we're out there, won't you? I don't want to get locked up in that room again.
We'll be with you.
And Cousin Barnabas, he won't know we're going out, will he?
He'll have no way of knowing. You'll be safe as long as you're with us.
Okay, I'm ready.
Roger, we'd like to ask permission to take David out with us for a while.
Out where?
To the mausoleum on Eagle Hill.
To the what?
To the mausoleum. There's something there that David wants us to see.
Another empty coffin, perhaps.
I think it would be better if we discussed it later after we get back.
I'm afraid that will not be possible. You're not going anywhere, at least with my son.
But we have to go.
David, I know best what you have to do.
There's something in the mausoleum that David thinks would help us, provide us with a clue as to what's been bothering him. Why he's so terrified of Barnabas.
Oh, so we're back to Barnabas, are we?
Well, he is the one that David's afraid of.
Yes, and he's also a member of this family, and as such, is entitled to a certain amount of respect. I think it's shocking that a cousin of mine is insulted and defamed and accused of... I don't even know what to call it.
We're not accusing Barnabas of anything. We just want to give David the benefit of the doubt.
You seriously think that there's some deep, dark secret in that mausoleum?
No. We just want to take a look.
I think it's ridiculous and insulting.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Roger. You know, it seems to me that taking the boy out there might help to ease his mind. It's terribly important to him.
Well, if you don't think you're making fools of yourselves, go on out and look for your terrible shadows in the night. But let me warn you, this is going to be the end of it.
What do you mean?
If there's nothing in that mausoleum except what should be there, we're calling a halt to all this nonsense about Barnabas. Is that clearly understood, David?
There is a secret room in the mausoleum, and I'm going to show it to them. And there was a coffin in the basement.
David, there was no coffin in the basement. You imagined all of it.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
David, if you're not going to be warm enough in that, let me get you a jacket.
Dr. Woodard, David is my only child, and I'm very concerned about him. I'm not blind to the fact that he has problems, perhaps more serious problems than the average boy his age. As I said, I'm very concerned about him.
I know you are, Roger.
And I think that the time has come to speak of his mental state and perhaps the possibility of professional help.
A psychiatrist?
Looking in empty cellars and tombs is not going to uncover anything. Looking into my boy's mind, if anyone can do it. All right, if you think you have to go on out now.
Thank you, Roger. Come on, David.
They'll take good care of him.
The way you looked at Burke Devlin, I'm sure you think he could take care of anything. Are you still planning on getting married?
Yes, of course.
Right away?
Burke wants to right away.
And you?
I'll stay here as long as David needs me.
There's no way of telling how long that will be. In his present mental state, he's like a person on a thin wire, very high off the ground. Any minute he may fall and plunge downward, out of our reach forever.
Well, here we are.
Well, go ahead, David. Lead the way. What's the matter?
I felt a sudden chill.
Well, it's a pretty cool night, even with a tweed jacket on. Come on.
I guess we better go in.
All right. Now, show us where the secret room is.
It's behind that middle panel on the wall.
How do you get into it?
I'll show you. You see the lion with the ring in its mouth? Well, you pull the ring and the secret door opens.
Well, go ahead, David. Pull the ring.
It must be stuck. It won't move, Burke. I can't get it to move.
Let me give it a try. That thing is not about to move.
I can't understand it. I did it before, and it was easy. I don't know what happened. Wait a minute. I know what happened. Barnabas got here first, and he did something to it.
Would you like to try it, Doctor?
Well, why not? Here, hold this, David.
Well, I guess we're not as strong as we used to be.
It's been a long, hard night.
You don't believe me. You don't believe that there is a secret room.
Now, look, David, we want to believe you, but we can't see the secret room, and we can't see the coffin unless the panel opens. And the panel doesn't open because, well, maybe it never did open.
Maybe you did just imagine it, David.
I didn't imagine it. I'll open it. You wait and see.
Come on, David. It's late. We're going home.
You don't believe me. You don't believe that there is a secret room.
David, there's something that you have to believe, too. Burke and I are your friends. We want to help you, and we will, somehow. But you've got to help us, too.
How?
By admitting that all there is in this building is what you can see. The floor, the four walls, the ceiling, and these 3 coffins. And that's all.
No, it isn't all. Look, it's Sarah's flute. You see, Sarah's been here. So it proves I've been telling the
Let me
truth.
see that. Now, David, you actually saw Sarah playing this thing?
Sure. I've seen her play it, and she always plays the same song.
You're sure that it isn't just one of your flutes?
No, I'm positive. Sarah left it here.
Now, why do you suppose she'd do a thing like that?
Because she wanted me to find it and show it to you, so then you'd believe me about the secret room.
Why don't we just forget about the secret room, David?
There is a secret room, Burke. There is.
Come on, we're going back to Collingwood. Your father and Vicky will wonder what happened to us. Well, at least Roger will be pleased. He said we wouldn't find anything, and we didn't.
I don't think that's exactly true, Burke. We didn't find what we came for sure. We found this. Now, that's something. There's got to be a reason why this thing was here. Well, listen. It's the only tangible thing we've come up with so far.
Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.